Hello everyone, I'm Donna Bush with your CIGTV News Update, Community News and Weather Forecast for this Friday. As we've been reporting, the National Roads Authority hosted the second annual Road Safety Conference this week, building on the success of last year's inaugural conference. Hundreds of local and international representatives attended the conference, where they heard from both local and international speakers. Cayman Islands Director of Public Safety Communications, Julian Lewis, and Interim Fire Chief, Mr. Paul Walker, both attended this year's conference.
Which is basically, what does 911 do to support the emergency response? So my specific function is to speak about how does 911 help all the other first responders and emergency responders get out to the field.
So we have a holistic approach, which I like to call CITRUS, which is Cayman Islands Think Road User Safety. I'll also be giving an insight into the emergency response aspect of a fire and rescue services role. So when people are involved in a road traffic collision, we have to get there, we have to create space, extricate those casualties when they're trapped from the vehicles so that they can be handed over to EMS and receive the medical care that they need.
Edward Howard, the NRA's acting managing director, said, quote, "The conference is the perfect opportunity to get all the parties together to establish best practices and collaborate for the mutual benefit of all," end quote.
We really want to bring people to the reality of the cost, the economic cost of accidents, not just the fatalities, but also the number of serious injuries that occur on our roads every year. And then we also want to let people know that road safety is not just a NRA problem, or it's not just a police problem, but it's everybody's concern. And so under the whole concept of the 5 E's, we're expressing the fact that education, the engineering, and the enforcement and the emergency services, and then evaluating our efforts is really the way to go.
Now, the conference ended on Friday afternoon. Well, it was a sea of color at the Truman Bodden Sports Complex on Friday afternoon as hundreds and hundreds of civil servants took part in the 3rd annual Civil Service Sports Day. Organized by the Deputy Governor's Office and the Wellness Committee, teams competed in various track and novelty events for all fitness levels. The idea is to promote teamwork, camaraderie, and wellness amongst civil servants, and to have a bit of fun, of course. Teams were made up of staff from various departments, units, sections, statutory authorities, and government companies, who all competed in many events, including swimming, egg and spoon races, tug-of-war, and much more. Well, the nominations deadline for the Cayman National Cultural Foundation's 26th Annual National Arts and Culture Awards has been extended until Thursday, the 7th of November. The National Arts and Culture Awards recognizes those who have made a significant contribution to arts and culture locally, achieved a high-quality body of work, or who have supported the work of the CNCF. The award ceremony will take place on Thursday, the 20th of February, that's next year, in 2020. During the month-long K-Fest Festival of the Arts. Nominations can be made online at artscayman.org. A copy of the nomination form is also available from the CNCF's offices during normal working hours on the 2nd floor in the building, which is directly behind the Harquail Theatre at the Harquail Cultural Center. You can also give them a call at 949-5477. Finally, coming up right after this evening's news date, we invite you to join us as we spotlight His Excellency Governor Martin Roper in today's Friday Focus segment. And turning now to this story making news headlines at Radio Cayman, Lisa Welcome from the Ministry of Community Affairs is the Cayman Islands Government's Employee of the Month for September. Ms. Welcome, a personal assistant and office manager, captured the award for delivering an outstanding customer experience, making it the 2nd consecutive month that an MCA staff member actually snapped up the coveted Employee of the Month award. Ms. Welcome is known for having taken on many roles within the ministry without complaint and being very passionate about her work and the success of the ministry. Chief Officer Teresa Inchiniki heaped kudos on Ms. Welcome by also acknowledging her passion and her dedication to go above and beyond her duties to ensure the betterment of the government and country. We say congratulations to Lisa Welcome. Another story is making headlines at Radio Cayman. The dates and venues for the public meetings for the cruise and cargo port facility have been announced. Premier Alden McLaughlin took to social media on Friday morning encouraging everyone to attend. watch the presentations, and have their questions answered. The first meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 12th at the Mary Miller Hall. That's in Red Bay. All meetings start at 7 p.m. and are open to the public. You can go online to supportourtourism.com for more details. Finally, a look at today's forecast this Friday from the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Isolated showers are expected over the Cayman Islands for the next 24 hours. As an upper-level low-pressure system lingers over the Northwest Caribbean, radar images show isolated showers in and around our area, which is moving west. Today's high temperature reached 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Meantime, the forecast call for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and possible winds are from the northeast at 5 to 10 knots. Sea conditions are slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. For a look at your daily and weekly forecast, remember to go online to weather.gov.ky for the latest forecast. Remember, you can also download the National Weather Service's app, CINWS, to have the latest weather information available to you. And that's the latest from us here at CIG Television. To see what's on our programming schedule, you can go online to gis.gov.ky and click on the publications icon at the bottom of the page. If you missed today's news update or this week, you can go to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page as well as the CIG Television YouTube channel. His Excellency Governor Martin Roper and his wife Lissy arrived in the Cayman Islands 1 year ago to start his role as the 14th governor of the Cayman Islands. The British diplomat has been very active in the Cayman Islands community, visiting with residents and even learning to play the steel pan. So, Your Excellency, it's been a year since you've been in the Cayman Islands, and I remember when we first talked a year ago, one of the first things that you said was how touched you were by the hospitality and the welcome of the Cayman people. Has that changed?
No, it's been truly wonderful, and it is a year, and it's gone so fast. But I think I've tried to get out and about as much as possible, tried to be accessible. But that Cayman kind welcome has been there everywhere I've been, and one of the really nice things was to do some constituency visits with some of the MLAs, and I mean I was just fed so much food on those visits, going from constituent's house to constituent's house, and a different meal in each house, but really warm Cayman kind welcome. So
I take it you've tasted some of our local cuisine like cassava cake, turtle meat.
Yes, yeah? I have the beef, conch. I mean, I've tasted everything, and that's all been lovely. And I think the fish, and I've always loved seafood, so that's been really nice to experience lots of different types of seafood.
All right. So how would you describe your first year here?
Well, as I said when I arrived, it's a real privilege to be appointed by Her Majesty the Queen to be governor of these islands, and I've been striving to do my utmost to support the security and the prosperity of everybody on these islands. And I'm very pleased with how the first year has gone. I think the relationship with the Premier and the government and with ministers is very good. It's very constructive, and we're trying to sort of move together in a number of areas. And I think just being accessible to the public is something I put a premium on, and I think I've managed to get out and about and support the community at lots of different events over the year. So I'm very pleased with how it's gone.
I would safely say that you're the first governor who has really put yourself out there on social media and social media platforms,
Right.
which is very important today to many of our demographic groups. Why do you do that? Why is that important to you?
Well, I think social media is something which helps you connect with people that otherwise you would have no contact with, particularly younger people. So when I arrived, I said, I want to do social media, and everybody said, well, you have to do Instagram. And I didn't know what Instagram was at that point. So we opened an Instagram page, and actually it's doing very well. It's growing very fast. And it is younger people who use Instagram. So I think often, governor, people see it as quite a sort of a stuffy, formal role, a bit detached from real life. But actually, if you use social media, you're able to show a human, personal touch and show that you can connect with what's going on in people's lives. So I think it's a very powerful tool. And we've got an Instagram page, there's a Facebook page, Twitter as well. So if anyone out there hasn't been following my activities, the activities of this office on social media, please do so.
All right. So what are some of the moments in your first year that you would say really stands out to you?
Well, it's been a really busy year. I suppose obviously one of the main highlights was the visit by Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall, and that was I think a truly wonderful visit. And what it did for me was it cemented those strong and enduring links between Cayman and the UK, and they were able to meet a wide range of people, including many of our younger people in the schools. So that was one highlight. We've also had the visit by Lord Ahmad, Minister of the Overseas Territories, for the Trade Summit in June. And just a couple of weeks ago, we had Mark Lancaster, the Minister of State for Defence, who came out and we've launched an exciting new project to set up a Cayman Islands Defence Regiment, on which we've had a lot of very positive feedback. So I think it's been a busy year, and I think the relationship between Cayman and the UK is a very good one. It's very constructive. We've also been looking at constitutional changes, and those discussions are ongoing. I hope we can conclude them soon, but I believe they will move forward the relationship in an even more modern and mature way, and I think that's good for Cayman and good for the UK. So there's been a lot going on, but not just those visits. I think that, the role of this office is to support Cayman, and we have wonderful local talent and experience on the islands, but sometimes we benefit from UK technical expertise in some areas. So I was very pleased we were able to part fund the new police helicopter, and we'll be getting a second one later this year, funded by CIG. We've worked on issues like mental health with the prison, disaster management. We had RFA Mounts Bay, the Royal Navy ship in June, did a beach landing to sort of show us what could happen if the worst happens, and we obviously hope it doesn't. And also we've done work to sort of really support, I think, law and order and security. I've reinvigorated the National Security Council, which meets monthly now, and we can't talk too much about those discussions, but I can reassure people it meets, and it's an effective body, ensuring we have the right focus on security and law and order. So I think as I look back over the year, there's a lot of positives to highlight.
Okay. What about your hobbies? Have you had any time?
Hobbies? Well, I mean, everyone sort of refers to the fact that I've learnt the steel pan, which was a wonderful experience, and all the credit goes to Earl Lapere, who is a true legend on the islands, and I have no musical talent whatsoever. So Earl Lapere managed to find something somewhere. So I have learnt Yellow Bird, and
awesome.
And we did Chariots of Fire. So I've got 2 songs, and I can give you a scoop as well, because I'm with Earl. I'm busy learning a 3rd tune.
Oh wow!
So watch out at Christmas time. There may be another performance coming around Christmas time. But actually, the steel pan, it's been great fun to learn it, and it's a wonderful instrument, and that's been nice. I've been kidnapped as a pirate. Of course, and we have Pirates Week coming up very soon, so that might happen again. I've been able to make thatch. There's all sorts of things that I've been able to do, and what that sort of has shown for me is that on the islands we have Caymanian culture, traditions, and that heritage, and it's a really strong sense of that I've got over the last year, and I think Caymanians are rightly very proud of that history, and you should be very proud of that history. But we then also have a very diverse community with nationalities from just about every corner of the world, and for me, what's really sort of powerful over the last year is that combination of the strong Caymanian history and culture with a diverse community, and that diversity is a real strength.
I mean, people often speak about Grand Cayman, and then you'll hear about the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
So you visited our sister islands.
I have.
You hit the ground there.
Yeah.
Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, probably within a very short period of time after arriving here. Have you been able to go back and visit? And what do you think about our sister islands and where they're headed?
Yeah, I have been able to visit. I think I've been 6 or 7 times to Cayman Brac over the year, and probably 3 or 4 times to Little Cayman. Of course, we took Prince Charles to Cayman Brac, and he opened the new swimming pool there, which is an amazing sort of swimming pool that they have there. And I think that Cayman Brac, it's a unique community, and it's been nice to meet lots of people there. I think I'll be going again at Christmas because they have their sort of senior citizens sort of Christmas lunch, so I'll be going over for that. And I think obviously the facilities that Cayman Brac and Little Cayman have for such small communities are truly impressive. You know, hospitals, schools, the sort of police, the facilities that you have in such a small island are really impressive. So I think that is the thing that strikes me, and it's really very important that we help the sister islands to be sustainable, to be successful, and I can see that is a very sort of strong objective from the government, which I support and want to do my best to enhance as well.
Okay. What are some of the things that are on your list to accomplish over the next year, few years?
So I think with my sort of responsibility for security and law and order, working through the National Security Council, I think that will remain a top priority. I mentioned the National Security Council, which we have reinvigorated, and we're looking at trying to make sure we have a proper strategic risk assessment for the islands, and we can really work out a detailed sort of crime reduction strategy. But when you look relatively at the region, the situation here is pretty good. I know people often do have concerns, rightly, about crime, and you know, obviously one incident gets reported in the press every day, so people sort of feel it's there. But I think the situation actually is pretty good here at the moment. I've reappointed the police commissioner for another 4 years. I think he's doing a great job, so want to support him in maintaining the relatively good sort of situation that we have at the moment. The Defence Regiment, I think, is a big priority. Where the Ministry of Defence want to send a team out before the end of the year to really try and take that forward. Good governance in its broadest sense. I'll remain sort of very focused on all the various commissions that we have, the commissions around judicial and legal services, the Constitutional Commission, the Anti-Corruption Commission, working with the Ombudsman and the Auditor General, who all do a good job for the islands in terms of underpinning good governance. So all of that will remain very important. We have a referendum coming up, of course, which I know is an issue of concern to sort of many people. So I'll be obviously watching that with interest, as everybody will. And I'm pleased we have international observers from the Commonwealth UK branch coming out to observe that. So there's a lot going on. I don't think we'll be short of things to do over the next year. But for me, the main objective is to continue to do my best to support the security and the prosperity of these wonderful islands and of all the people across the 3 islands.
You mentioned the regiment, and obviously it's something that's a hot topic at this point. Can you, from your perspective, explain the idea behind it for viewers out there who may not have been able to read or hear about it, you know, from your perspective, exactly what the idea is behind this regiment?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is simply, for me, really about disaster preparedness. So what we will try and do is we'll start small, but maybe we can build up next year a troop of sort of 30 to 35 people initially, who would go back to the UK and get sort of training from Sandhurst, the UK's top military training establishment, probably in engineering, as engineers. So for example, if we were to have a hurricane here, and we didn't want to wait for the Royal Navy ship to come and clear the airport, you would have people here already trained who could go to the airport and clear that and enable aircraft to land sort of straight away. So I think it adds a huge amount to our disaster preparedness to have a regiment, a bit like Bermuda has got the Bermuda Regiment, and that's been able to do great things in Bermuda when they've had, perhaps not hurricanes recently, but they've had tropical storms which have done damage, and their regiment has been able to get straight out there and do things that your police and your fire service and your ambulance services don't have the skills to do. Right. So I think that's a key objective, which I think is a win-win for the islands, for the UK, and that force could then also be at the service of other territories and other countries in the region, a bit like sending our helicopter to the Bahamas. So that, for me, is the immediate short-term goal, and I think everyone on the islands could recognise that actually would be something very valuable and worth having.
Any final words as we wrap up?
Well, just to say a huge thank you to everyone on the islands for making Lizzie and I both feel so welcomed. And again, it's a real privilege to be here as the governor of these wonderful islands. And I'm looking forward to the next year with great energy and excitement.